ideas, then you're going to be limited to what you can do.
100%.
So you can brainstorm as much ideas as you can,
100%.
see where you sit, and obviously have a realistic game plan, of course.
100%.
And then on top of that, write it out. Start creating like baby steps.
Write it out.
Like have baby steps so that your brain can comprehend, like, this is what I actually have to do to get to that level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think most, sorry to interrupt, yeah?
Yeah, and I was saying in the whole paralysis analysis thing I was talking about, essentially, that's just when people when people think too much about certain thing, and they never take action.
You're right. That's why, you're right. That's why a lot of, well, apart from billionaire status, a lot of wealth is predicated on risk tolerance and not IQ, because a lot of super smart people, they tend to think that they're too scared to embarrass themselves through failure. And they, like you said, analysis paralysis, they look at every single angle and the perfect time in the market, and this is the best time to do it. I'm going to wait 3 months. It's like, bro, like you've now lost 90 days of your life to not do it. So I agree with you. But yeah, back to as you were saying.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it for that.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of it, yes, is 100% thinking big enough. And I think a lot of it's ecosystem. So like, because we copy behavior, like we all went to, not all of us, but like we went to certain high schools. We both went to 2 different high schools. So like, at a certain point in time, not all we knew, because you could watch YouTube and stuff, but the constant exposure was to people within class, parents, teachers, right? Now that we're at an age where a lot of teachers are now our friends, and our friends become teachers, like, frick, man, like this next generation screwed it. I'm joking. But it's like, now that we're at the age where a lot of our friends can be teachers, we're like, these guys don't know much. We're all learning. All of us, me and you, are still learning. So the fact that they're leading the next generation, and at one point when me and you were kids, we looked up to these guys as like, they are all-knowing beings who understand adult life. It's kind of like, far, man. Like, it's really hard to think big when you are not constantly exposed to stimuli that encourages you to think big. Like me and you have friends in our networks that own private jets that are under 30 that make 100K a day. We have friends in our network that we can text that do those kinds of things. So, for us, the standard and the bar is so much bigger than even, like you said, ironically, money. It's actually bigger. It's more around innovation and how can we put our finger on the pulse of innovation and add our little kind of flair to it. So, I think part of it, yes, is thinking big enough, being accessible or being around the stimuli to where thinking big is just the norm, I had a friend recently that was start of the year, they were in Miami and Dubai and they were traveling, and they just, because they were in certain rooms, were around more stimuli compared to like, and Melbourne has its heavy hitters as well, but compared to some of the stimuli that might be down here in Australia, right? Because there's 27 million people here. There's other parts of the world like America where there's hundreds of millions of people, When it comes to psychology, pivoting to psychology and influence, right? You are, if we're looking at statistical perspective, one of the best brand architects, let's just say. You're probably a top 1, top 2, top 0.1% brand architect in Australia in terms of creating brands, right? Online. When it comes to psychology, what is one psychological thing that you think like a lot of people don't use that could really help their marketing or their sales when they're, creating brands online?
Definitely. I mean, I'm a very analytical person, so I brainstorm so much and come up with so many, like crazy amount of ideas. And I mean, now it's sped up my process using like ChatGPT, but like I will use that to understand a bit more of what I'm saying. But even before that, I put myself in the perspective of the customer every single time.
Right.
Like putting myself in the shoes of whoever I'm targeting, because the way I see it, right? And this is my mentality, and I've always had this. There will always be someone that will spend money, right? So it's just a matter of how you can target them for them to spend that money. Like, if that makes sense. It's like there's someone that will always want a service of 10,000, 50,000, 100,000. You could start that business, and you just got to target that person that's willing to spend 100,000 or 50,000, whatever it is. It may sound bold, but it's true. Like like we've got a friend of ours who runs like a jet industry. He's in the private jet industry. Essentially, you know, he's got clients that will spend close to 700K for a couple of trips.
100%. Yeah.
You know, like 100K, 150K for a one-way flight. There are people that are willing to spend. It's like there's never a limit when it comes to spending. So when it comes to certain things that are run like for events or for marketing gigs, there is always going to be someone there. There will always be, in my head, the way I see it is that event will always sell out in my head.
Yeah.
There's the abundance of, you know, if there's 10,000 people that I have to sell tickets to,
Yeah.
I know there are 30,000 people that have the money to
100%.
spend
Real.
for that event. It's just a matter of understanding that customer and then targeting them. And yeah, it's giving yourself enough time for essentially creating that plan, you know, that marketing plan. But yeah, and I mean, I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. So I'm always attracting and positivity towards my belief that I'll always excel in whatever marketing gig that I do. Yeah,
That's a good point, man. There's always people that are going to be able to afford that service or that thing.
whatever you're targeting. Yeah, yeah.
Like you said, so targeting is a big thing, and I think a lot of people could take away from that. My one, I guess more so from a service business perspective and less e-commerce or like retail. The biggest psychological thing, storytelling for me. I think both of us, you're definitely at a higher level, but I think both of us are great storytellers. For me, one thing that really helped me, I remember I was 23, and how old am I? 25 now. So when I was 23, I was growing my business whilst wrapping up my final year in corporate.
Yeah.
So that year I was doing maybe around 200, a little bit over 200K. And I was 23, so I was like going out for dinners, and I was actually making, I was more ironically profitable then than I am now, because now I'm like, every time we make an extra 10K a month in terms of like recruiting billion, I'm like, new employee. I'm just like, I want my back against the wall.